come from a large family and music was very much part of our family life growing up. My parents had 5 children, all of whom learnt music, and Mum would be playing Radio 3 in the car, she still does. My dad used to actively play and talk us through his LP collection, and many of those records were actually piano concertos. I was also raised in the Christian faith, and I remember a time when my dad, he prayed a prayer of blessing over me when I was very young, and that prayer was that when I grew up, I would touch people with my music. And that is still a poignant memory for me. I don't remember a time of actively deciding or choosing to be a musician. I'd say it was just always a part of me, and what's on the inside is what comes out on the outside. I've had some fabulous teachers and mentors on the piano, and they have helped me to hone my craft and performance and pianism. But I'd say it's playing with chamber musicians and working with conductors that has really grown my musicianship. It's really important, I think, to play with different kinds of musicians because that's where you experience different ways in which people approach music, and that can be a place where your musicianship and your artistry grows. Definitely the scramble for time. I think artistry takes time, but every musician is their own business as well, and that can't be left unattended. Bach and Liszt, definitely. So Bach has a musical language that no one really comes to the end of exploring, and for me, playing Bach is really good for my mind. It's great for my fingers. It's good for my ear. It almost feels like it cleans my ear because it's so pure and you have to listen so carefully, and it's good for my soul. And Liszt was the master of piano textures, really. He's amazing, and I love the way that Liszt feels under my hands. And even when it's technically challenging, there's always a logical pattern to the fingerwork or the structure of the music, and I love that. And also, a great bonus is that Liszt provides some really good showstoppers for concert programming. What do I do? So I watch and I listen to other musicians or other artists in different fields. And this is not exclusive to classical music or the concert hall. So I remember a couple of years back, I was sitting in for a rehearsal of Sleeping Beauty that the Royal Ballet were rehearsing. And it was being produced by Dame Monica Mason, and I got to sit in, and as Mason was directing, literally it felt like she literally embodied the ballet, I just think it's rare to find directing like that. It was like she was the ballet, all of it. Just incredible. The way she spoke, the way every step she took, even the way she sang some of the musical phrases, everything had depth and meaning, every nuance. It felt like she was full of nuances, actually. Every nuance had a story to tell, in the bigger picture of the story. And she is so inspiring. She's such an inspiring artist. But that embodiment of something, of a piece of art that she carries, for me, that is super inspiring. It's super inspiring when an artist lives with and carries a piece of art so well that when they retell it, literally everyone in the room is just drawn to them. Often contemplative, perhaps. Sometimes narrative, but not always. Mostly just searching for beauty. I wouldn't say I draw on a particular composer or musical style as an influence. I just say different composers and different works hold points of interest or study for me at any one time, depending on where I'm at in life or what I'm writing or what I'm thinking about, really. And at the moment, I'm choral writing, and I did spend some time in tallis scores before I started writing. I remember Nottingham Chamber Music Festival. So when they commissioned me to write for cello and harp, I wrote psalms for them, and at the time I listened to a lot of plain chant, which I love, but that was because I based the score on an original plain song theme. So I was listening to a lot for plain chant at the time. Not that the music resembles plain chant at all, it's not meant to, but it is based on a plain song. And what else? I love writing for cello, actually. I used to play the cello when I was a kid, but I'm not a cellist. Just have total respect for cellists and love the cello repertoire. Cello works that inspire me would be the Kodai Cello Sonata. And just lots of great stuff in that. 7 Word by Sofia Gubaidulina. Ernest Bloch. Yeah. The Jewish Life from Ernest Bloch I just find entirely expressive, and I just love the way I just feel it does such a great imitation of the human voice too. How do I work as a composer? I think very simply, actually. I tend to have the musical idea and the overall structural form in my head, and I just write that down briefly. And when I mean write it down, I don't mean the whole thing. I mean just jotting here and there, so I don't forget what it is that I just thought about or was contemplating. And then I spend a lot of time notating that onto manuscript paper first, and then onto computer. I probably don't write in detail on manuscript paper. I just kind of write a simplified idea of it. And then once I'm at the stage of writing it onto the computer, then I'm adding a lot of textures and, beefing it up a lot more. And I'm thinking a lot about scoring. I think about scoring a lot. It's really important to me that I'm communicating to the musicians in the best way I can the sound that originated from my head. So scoring is important to me. Interestingly enough, when I compose, even though I am a pianist, I'm not massively hands-on the piano. A little bit here and there, but in general, not really. I tend to think a lot, sing a lot, conduct phrases. Actually, when I come to think of it, even when I'm practicing the piano for piano performances and stuff, obviously I'm hands-on when I'm practicing the piano, but even then I sing a lot and I conduct phrases for myself too. Yeah, they do influence each other. In fact, the last time I did a composition workshop, I think I surprised the performers on how much of a clear vision I had for the performance. But, if I'm writing for the concert hall, then as I write, I'm thinking about how to connect the musicians with the audience. And I'll be visualizing that performance too. And of course, being a composer is a great help. On the piano when playing scores from other contemporary composers, and it means there's a quick willingness for me to grasp and understand the composer's musical style and their musical language. I think playing Rhapsody in Blue at Snake Mouldings, because that concert hall is so beautiful to play in. It's gorgeous and a lovely stage. They've got a roof that's made from wood and the acoustic is just fabulous, and Steinway is great, and it just feels like it's effortless. Just effortless, and it just flows to play there because the acoustic does so much for you. I'd say we need to better use classical music to meet the needs of everyday contemporary culture. So this year, in the year of pandemic, there has been a huge need for comfort and for rest. And obviously classical music easily provides that. But to meet new audiences, I think we often need to repackage the music they need in a form that they are already familiar with. So this is not always a recital or a sit-down concert. So for example, millions of people are on YouTube right now looking for music to help them sleep. Music for sleeping is one of the most popular music videos on YouTube right now. And some of those YouTube videos for sleeping are using classical music. They're using Debussy, and Ravel. But it's not a sit-down concert. It's repackaged in a different way to meet a contemporary need. And there are many young people too who first realised they liked Beethoven when they heard Moonlight Sonata being played by an R&B artist called Alicia Keys. And in the same way, there are many people whose first experience of the New World Symphony was when they saw the Hovis advert on TV. And it's for those reasons that classical music in mainstream motion picture and TV is really important. And collaboration. So collaboration with other artists from other genres, hip-hop, pop, rock, R&B, whatever, grime, you name it. That's really important too, because that's where you're going to reach and find a new audience that weren't yours beforehand. You will have to work really hard at your art, and you will have to work really hard at the business of distributing your art. Did you transport your audience? Did you give away your trade secrets to the next generation? And do you value the people who listen to, purchase and celebrate your music?